Welcome back. It's unfortunate we had some issues within the audio and we were not picking up signal. So I'd like to say thanks for your patience. Welcome to the Volcano Shelton show here tonight. I'm hoping that the situation has been resolved. Let me just quickly check it out. Um, Technology just always has a way of creating problems. So um, hopefully, if you're picking up signal there, just let me know that everything is good. I will appreciate it. But thank you for coming through tonight. Please help me share the link, share the videos, share the podcast, share everything you can share about the show tonight, because the conversation going to be a good one because we have a topic that we thought would be very pertinent, and so I just wanted to make sure that we look at it, and it's about citizens always blaming their government for everything that goes wrong, even if those citizens are the contributing factors heavily to the cause of what goes wrong. And we find that in our societies, especially third world societies or developing nations. So I just want to say thank you for coming through tonight. Please help me share the link, share the video, share the podcast so that we can have as many people here tonight. It will be a good conversation. My name is Volcano Shelton, so welcome to the show. We're here on every Thursday, once a week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also here on Tuesday, but with our sister podcast, The Issues Room. The Issues Room will be back here next Tuesday, but tonight is the Volcano Shelton show, so I invite you to take a seat, relax, invite someone, and let's have this conversation together. Today, a lady passed as a result of a tension wire. The high voltage tension wire was in the way, and she was on the way to the market, accordingly, from the news. And this took place in Bond County. And so I just want to say, my condolence to her family. She lost her life. It's a tragic situation. Every day something comes out of Liberia, and it's, oftentimes devastating, sadness, and we just got to continue to pray and be hopeful for our country. So again, to that lady's family, I say my condolence to you. Again, as I said, if you're picking up signal and it's clear, please just give me a buzz and say good to go, so I can go into the conversation in full. I also want to acknowledge the game just played by Morocco and France. They played to a zero first half, and later on in the 60th and 66th minute of the game, Mbappe scored the first goal, followed in 6 minutes by Dembele, and France won that game 2-0. So France now advances toward the semi-final with hope to meet Spain, or I believe it's Switzerland. I'm not Belgium rather. I believe it's Spain. Spain. So it's either Belgium or Spain. So as a result, Mbappe is now tied with Messi with 8 goals each. Mbappe missed a penalty in the first half that would have put him to 9 goals. Of course, 2 days ago, Messi missed a penalty in the game with um, Colombia. Rather, Egypt. Egypt. Let me take it back. Egypt. And unfortunately, he settled for 8 goals because he scored a goal. So they're now neck to neck in this World Cup. Thank you so much. Let's start the show quickly. Let me make sure that signal is good before I begin the conversation again. So I just want to say thank you for joining me. So again, I was asking if you're picking up signal, just quickly let me know that signal is good so I can proceed. I'm trying to get the broadcast live here from my phone, but it's not giving me the new flow. So please notify me with a quick approval that you are indeed picking up signal. So the topic tonight is, why do citizens always blame the government for everything that goes wrong, even if they contribute heavily to the cause? Citizens often blame the governments for problems, even when citizens themselves contribute to those problems, because government is always seen as the primary institution responsible for managing society. Several psychological and social factors can contribute to this mentality. And I'm going to go through some of those causal factors. The government are expected to solve collective problems. That's what citizens says to put the government in power for, to solve collective problems. Many issues like pollution, crime, inflation, infrastructure failures, corruption, public health crisis are difficult for individuals to solve alone. As a result, people often view government as the coordinator with the authority, resources, and legal powers to address those issues. That is why citizens go to the polls to elect their leaders with the intent that those they put in power will solve all the inherited problems. However, what they refuse to accept, many citizens, is that they put the leaders in power even if they are bad, incompetent, and corrupt. Citizens want to make no blame, or rather take no blame, for their bad judgment and decision making when they put the wrong people in power. That's one of the reasons why they cry on the government. Government is expected to solve all the problems that are in the society. The second reason is that people separate individual actions from systemic outcomes. What that means? A person may think, my one action doesn't cause this problem, which can feel true at the individual level. At an individual level, I'm seeing a signal here. Hold 1 second for me, please. Difficult for individuals to solve. All right, so we're good. So as I was saying, right, the truth is one bad vote of a citizen can make a difference, because our electoral law says 50% plus 1. Right? 50% plus 1. So one citizen can make a president. One citizen can make a president. Just imagine for a moment. Take just a second. How one citizen's decision can change the whole fate of a nation, especially if that citizen doesn't make the right decision. We've seen this since the rebirth of our democracy since 2005. In addition, millions of similar actions, however, can create a large-scale issue. So what that means, one citizen can impact a whole outcome of an election. So put thousands of voters making that decision. It is easier to notice the system-level failure than to recognize one's own contribution. So you always blame the system, but you don't blame your contribution to making the system spoil. It is easier, as I said, and as I have often continued to say and to talk about the garbage issue around Monrovia, that is leading to the bad sanitation and serious flooding. Now one citizen can put their hands out and say, oh, it is my fault. I'm responsible for this. Not one citizen. Instead, what the citizens do, they cry on the government when the flood waters come. citizens make the dirt, the garbage. They do it. But when the flood water comes, what they do? They cry on the government. But say on the other hand, if the government then charges fees for garbage removal, then it becomes a problem. So you can't have it both ways, citizens. You can't have it both ways. Because no one gonna take your trash for free. So when you make your trash and you throw it everywhere, there are repercussions. So that's an example. So you can't cry and say the government is responsible for your attitude and your behavior. You must learn to be patriotic enough to pay for services. You must learn to be patriotic enough to say, my behavior is wrong. You must learn to be patriotic enough to say, I will not go in the night to take my garbage and put it in the drainage. All because you don't want to pay a small thing for somebody to be responsible to take it away. You can't make your dirt and expect it to be taken away for free. So you go in the night and you try to wait under the cover of darkness to throw your garbage in the drainage. Then when heavy rain falls, it creates flooding due to those drainages being clogged. While in the flood, then you start crying. You please call the government. Oh, the government not doing anything. Oh, the government fail us. Oh, the government will put in power. The government ain't care. Oh, we here in the flood. We here in the rain. We here in this one. We here in that one. Pray tell me. It's like you send your child to school. You provide the financial resources. The child don't learn. Then the child blame you for not learning. That's how citizens act, especially in Liberia. You put the government there. The government has its mandate. The government has its agenda. But you circumvent the agenda. You don't promote your behavior and activity and your attitude to impact the agenda of the government. But then you blame the government for its failure to meet the obligation of you, the citizens, when you are the major contributors to the government's downfall. And these are the examples I'm giving you. You're blaming the leaders because it's a common human behavior when you are responding to uncertainty. You want to blame the leader for your fault, for your dirty attitude, for your irresponsible behavior to citizenship. You blame the leader. When people experience hardship, they often look for a clear cause or responsible party. So it's all about shifting blame. Leaders are visible and accountable. So what? They become the natural targets for frustration. You are making the leaders the natural targets for your frustration. Your frustration that you're faced with is caused by your behavior for lacking the responsibility to being a good and patriotic citizen. Government are always judged on their promises. It's another reason. If a government says it will reduce crime, improve healthcare, control prices, or protect the environment, citizens may hold it reasonable, or rather responsible, when results fall short. But I'll give you an example. Healthcare. Government tries to procure drugs for the clinics, for the hospital. You, the nurses, steal the drugs, carry it to your homes, and have your small mini clinics in your houses and treating people in your community. Then when no drugs in this hospital and in the clinic for the other people, the patients, then you blame government. What's the responsible attitude of the citizens when the citizens work for government and steals from government and expect the government to be blamed? So how can the government fight corruption when at the professional level, the practitioner levels, nurses, doctors are stealing from the government and carrying it home to create small mini clinics in their homes to treat people on the side and take that money and pocket it? You take the drug from the hospitals, from the clinics. Some of these drugs are given through donor aids because the government can fund everything. And you do that, and then you blame the government. So how can the government fight crime when you are committing crimes? I mean, this doesn't work like that. Even public behavior also affects those outcomes. Government will often not live up to their promises because most of the citizens contribute to its failures. That's what I'm saying. For example, a coach is squarely blamed for the loss of a match. People are blaming the coach of Brazil because Brazil lost the match. Is the coach on the soccer field playing the game? The coach is not on the field. It is the players who are playing the game. And if those players fail to comply and implement the game strategies as advised by the coach, then they'll lose. So you can't blame the coach for the team losing in its entirety. The coach may have some impact because of substitution, but again, it's coming from your lens. So it's the same thing. Government is making this effort to provide resources while citizens are stealing the resources and blaming the government. For instance, I added in another example. A professional prize fighter, a boxer, and his trainer. If the boxer doesn't follow the game plan, you spend 6 to 8 weeks training heavily to prepare for a match. But if you don't follow the game plan as advised by the coach or the trainer, even when you take your breaks in the corner, you will lose that match and even you might be knocked out. Do you blame the trainer for your loss? When the trainer who watching the fight and telling you make these adjustments and you go back to status quo and you throw no jabs and you're all on the defense until you get hit with a laser shot and you drop and that's it. The fight is over. How do you blame the coach when the coach is not there throwing the punches for you? The coach is telling you, or the trainer is telling you what to do. The trainer is watching the match. There are things that you're not saying that the trainer is saying. So it's the same as in the case of government. You put government in power, government, create these policies, create these opportunities, and say citizens, let all of us enjoy. But then a few citizens tend to be the anomalies, and they want to take it on their own to corrupt government, corrupt society at the detriment of the greater good of the I'm hearing that the sound is bad. Let me see what is happening here again. This is unfortunate. I don't know what to say, what to do. Good Lord. Good Lord. Is it better now? Can you please give me signal? I don't know what else to do here. Good now. Okay, the sound is good now. Accordingly, the sound is good now. Where is this coming from? All right, just give me a second there. I don't like this. Okay, thanks for your patience. This is unfortunate. The system keeps having this white air. I don't know where it comes from. When I find it and I get rid of it, it comes right back. But nevertheless, we were in the lane. So we're talking about citizens and their behavior as it attributes to government's failure. And then they blame the government for it. And please acknowledge me, rather notify me when the sound goes bad so I can determine what is happening and fix it right away. Thank you, Ms. Sila, for, you know, uh, notifying me. Thank you. So, citizens and government influence each other. It's another reason. The relationship is not a one-way thing. All right. Is it better now? Sis Glendy, is it better now? I'm hoping it's better now. This is unfortunate. I don't know what's happening here tonight. Sis Glendy, can you please let me know if it's better now, please, so I can continue on? I would appreciate it if you can please. Mr. Awaji, can you tell me quickly if it's better now? Do you hear me? Is it better? I think it's better now, right? Right? I think it's better now. Isn't it? I'm seeing the needle moving, so it should be better, right? Okay now. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying, right? So citizens and government, they're inextricably linked. They're linked. So your behavior influences what government does. You have the greater matter the greater stake in the matter as citizens. And until you learn to understand that, you have an obligation to yourself before you can hold your government accountable, then you run the risk of having bad governance. So you can't blame the government for your inactions. You should take the necessary actions as patriotic citizens to be able to hold the government accountable. So, the best way to think about this blame game is that governments are often responsible for creating conditions, enforcing standards, and managing shared resources, while citizens are responsible for their participation, okay? Their participation in the system. Many societal problems are not caused by one side alone. They emerge from the interaction between the public institutions and the individual behavior. That is why I said that government and citizens are inextricably linked. Citizens have a part to play, government has a part to play, but citizens have the greater stake in the matter, because what government does is to your benefit. What you do, and especially negative, is detrimental to your benefit. So you cannot blame the government for your negative behavior. We have to change that trajectory as a society and as citizens. So this is how citizens can stop blaming the government for everything that goes wrong. Citizens can reduce the tendency to blame government for everything by developing a stronger shared sense of responsibility. Okay? Developing a stronger sense of shared responsibility while holding leaders accountable. You have to dip into the issue. Say to yourself, am I the reason why? When you go into the street to demonstrate, do you ask yourself, why are we demonstrating? You sit there and allow a politician or an influencer who may be a major contributor to the country's problem, gather you people, give your small money, put t-shirts on you, and then you go in the street and demonstrate with no purpose, with no specific direction. Because you're looking for someone to blame. And who you blame? The government. How can you blame the government through a protest for garbage removal when you pay no tax? Thomas Awaji, Volcano, Shelton, says Glendon Juniors, we pay garbage disposal fees in America. So when the institution responsible for garbage removal doesn't show up, then we have the authority and the power to go and demonstrate. In Liberia, you don't want to pay for nothing. You want to make the dirt and you want to blame the government. How that possible? They're talking demolition. You take it personal. You allow opposition politicians to fool you and say it's a bad government, so we're going to demonstrate. We're going to put this on the table. What sense is that? When you knowingly build in the waterways, when you knowingly backfill the swampland that's supposed to be the natural sponge to suck the rain waters from in your local communities, you backfill it with dirt, you sell public land, and you build makeshift shelters there. And then when you get consumed by flood, then you blame the government. Pray, tell me, what sense is this? You forgetting to know that you put that government in power. The government does not get in power with all your electoral votes. It doesn't. The government gets in power because you put the government in power. So you have to recognize your own responsibility in the government's failure, because you are a major contributor to the government's failure. There is nowhere the government just come to power and go wrong. Nowhere the government just come to power and go wrong. In as much as George Weah had his faults, he had some good intent. But you, the citizens, allowed him to go amok, now hold him responsible. So he looked at it and said, but you know what, I can go watch my son play football for 1 month. Didn't care. And you demonstrated that you didn't care, because you allowed that to happen as the citizens. You take Joseph Barker, you put him in power with his arrest agenda. One of the issues on the agenda is sanitation. But then what you do, you make your dirt, you throw it all in the drainage, you create flooding everywhere, then you blame the government. Rather than your community chairman coming together, your community leaders coming together and say, you know what, I'll give an example of my locale, Painesville City, where I was born and grew up. You have a mayor by the name of Bestman. What is he doing with regards to sanitation? What mechanisms being put in place? Are they going down to the citizens around in the different little areas? You say the town hall, Tupo Road, Chiese Road, Joba, Zina Hill, Cooper Farm, Tingos Village, ERWA, Peloton, all these places. Police Academy, Red Light. Are they going there and say, you know what, we're going to tax every home here for sanitation removal. If you don't pay it, you'll be fined, you'll be taken to court and prosecuted. Every month, we'll collect $100 from each house here to contribute to garbage removal. Take corruption out of it. Take corruption out of it. Make sure that that $100 is managed. It is a small way to begin to contribute to the cleanliness. But when they come with that kind of plan, you say, no, we won't pay. Then in the night, you want to take your garbage and put it in the drainage and blame the government. Not every problem is a policy failure. Not every problem that the government faces is a policy failure. The government can create laws, provide services, and set standards, but citizens also influence the outcome through their choices and behavior. Your choices and behavior can influence the outcome of what the government wants to do. The laws the government creates, the services the government provides, the standards the government set are influenced by your behavior and your choices. So stop the blame game. Stop blaming the government for every nonsense that you create. Stop that. For example, a government can improve the waste system, as I said, but citizens still decide how much waste they must create and how they're going to put recycles aside and put regular trash aside. In developing societies, they put the recycle, meaning like plastics and other things that are recyclable, they put it in a special bin, and regular garbage itself, they put it in a special bin. If that system is put in place, will you people find the time to do that separation? No. You will commingle everything together, and then you blame the government. They will even choose to neglect using the waste system. I can tell you the truth. If the government decides now to put waste bin across the cities, say the whole Tottenham Boulevard, we put waste bin from Broad Street straight to Red Light. for regular trash that's being made by citizens in the day, you know what they're going to do? They're going to come in the night and fill up those waste bins with their own trash. Okay? They will come in the night and fill up those waste bins with their own trash. Just like they do in the drainage. So then how would the waste bin system work for waste management? I'll give you another example. The sign reads, say we have public toilets at the sports complex. We have paper towel. Or even at the airport. We have paper towel and we have toilet paper. The sign says, do not put paper towel in the toilet because the toilet will be clogged. People will still go, use the toilet, use paper towel, and put it in the commode. Even if they ran out of toilet paper, but there's paper towel, the common sense to do is to use the paper towel for cleaning up, but don't put it in the toilet, put it in the waste bin in the bathroom. All because if you put the paper towel in the toilet or the commode, you will clog it. But people will not do that. And then when that happens, they blame the airport authority or they blame the Ministry of Youth and Sports because the bathroom's clogged. So citizens' behavior and attitude contribute to government's failure. Citizens do not listen, they do the opposite. Always. Always. Now, I see Mabel Koa says here, our problem is those in power, where the same citizens yesterday, so they are not well to hold other for what they all do, but even house should be responsible for their garbage. I'm not sure. I hope she can rewrite it. But anyhow, so yeah, as I was saying. So we are talking about your responsibility. So ask yourself some serious questions here tonight, citizens of Liberia. What is my role in this problem? Let's take, for example, the flooding now going on around Monrovia. Ask yourself, what is my role in the flooding? We understand global warming is a phenomenon that is now increasing rainfall. We didn't have it before, years ago. Now it's becoming existential. And the rainy seasons are very torrential and long to deal with. So, to address flooding in Monrovia and its environs, you, the citizens, should begin to ask yourself, what is my role in this problem? Rather than blame the government when the flood comes and then you cry, oh, government, please come. You please tell they want to come. You please tell they want to come. It's not going to work. Start with yourself. Before assigning the blame, citizens should begin to examine, did my actions contribute to the issue? Did my actions contribute to the issue? How is my action influencing community floods? Am I following the rules I expect others to follow? Am I supporting the solutions in my community? For instance, right now in my neighborhood, there's a lot of flooding going on. Why? It's not garbage. It is sand mining. People are digging the sand that comes as a result of the erosion, coming and bringing the sand, and they dig the sand to build with. They sift out the sand and they use that sand to build. People have built houses in the community. But what they fail to realize, they've been creating an undermining of the topsoil that's supposed to absorb the rainwater and it recedes. So now it is the red clay dike, and the clay dike cannot absorb the rainwater. That's a community issue. Those who are sand mining and taking sand from in the community should then ask themselves, what is my contribution to this matter? What is my contribution? Am I following the rules as expected by us? Am I supporting the solutions that we're going to decide? So if the community chairman and the community committee comes together and say, you know what, no more sand mining here. We catch you, we'll do X, Y, Z. They'll wait at 3 o'clock in the morning. Quietly go and sand mine. So when you ask yourself, what is your role? When you circumventing the rules put in place by the community? So most of the problems of our society begins at the family societal levels. It is not always the government. Let us pay attention to this conversation tonight because it's critical, and I'm so sorry that in the beginning there has been some degree of white noise coming in from the broadcast, technical glitches here and there, but I hope that most of what I've been contributing is coming across. We need to first understand our role in the problem. But then what happens? We also need to be more involved. This is how we can address this blame game. We as citizens need to be more involved. Many problems are affected by community level actions, as I said. Many of the problems. Participating in neighborhood groups, volunteering, attending public meetings, or helping local initiatives can shift people from being only critics to being contributors. When we decide actually that we want to change our community, that we want to do what is right by our community, we can be an example and trendsetter for other communities to emulate. We see that in developing societies. We see that. Some communities in developing societies are better than other communities. And for you to live in that better community, you must have the pocket. But in Liberia, everybody lives together. You build a nice house here, the man just come and put a zinc shot, attach it to your fence. And here a family living there regularly, making dirt and poo-pooing all around the area. No good sanitation. Your good house with flush toilet, with commode, with everything, septic tank. The man can just stick his belly side of house fence in a public land, maybe like the alley. Then when government come to clear, then he get vexed. He said, government demoliting. I was here for 60 years. What nonsense is this? How in the hell are you going to continue to complain about government when you are contributing to the problems every day? How do you blame your parents for not learning when your parents provided the resources for you to go to school, to be a better citizen, to be a professional? You choose not to go to school. You choose to go in the club. You choose to do the wrong thing. The people paying the money, you keep failing, and then at the end of the day, you don't graduate. Parents get tired. They ran out of money, and then you say you blame your parents. That's the juxtaposition between citizens and government. Citizens blaming government is like a bad kid blaming their parents for not accomplishing anything in life. On the other hand is that you can choose your government. The bad kid can choose his parent. But also the good kid who has bad parents, that he has to struggle through life to make it better. He can't choose his parents. But you citizens choose your government. So if you don't support your leaders by doing what is expected of you as a citizen, as a patriot, then of course the government's failure cannot be attributed to the government because you are a major contributor. So you got to set the trend. Learn how government actually works. It's your responsibility. You put the government in power, you need to know how the government actually works. We'll come to that. If you're just joining us here, this is the Volcano Shelton Show. I'd like to say thank you for being here with us. We are here Thursdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays, the Issues Room, and Thursdays, the Volcano Shelton Show. Tonight, we're having a good conversation regarding citizens' behavior and attitude, blaming the government for everything that goes wrong when they are the major contributors to all of the causes, while they're failures in society. Please share the link, invite others to join us, love us, like us. We are here on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn every Thursday, as I said. Thank you for joining. I'd like to quickly recognize Thomas Awaji. Thank you, my brother, for coming through tonight. Also, I'd like to say Mabel Koa, thank you for joining. Sis Glenda Juniors, thank you for coming. Sa Matea, It's a pleasure having you in the house. Unfortunately, we've been having a little rough edge and start here back and forth with the um, audio, but I'm hoping now that it's better and that we can continue the last segment of this broadcast. So, learn how your government actually works. It is your responsibility as citizen. Just like you want to learn the Constitution so that you're able to discuss the articles within the Constitution, the clauses, the phrases, however you want to put it. It is the same way you need to learn and know your government. Understanding which level of government is responsible for what can reduce misplaced blame. You can't just put everything together and just blame the government. You got to understand the levels, right? And your contribution as well is critical. It's critical. It's critical. Your understanding. Thomas Awaji said, we pay taxes here for services, yet our community get together to clean up twice a month. Yes. 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 So understanding the level of government, a city council, state government, and the national government often have different powers and limitations. So blame the Monrovia City Corporation, the Monrovia City government, for Monrovia City issues. Blame the Painesville City government for Painesville City issues. Blame the Broadville City government for Broadville issue. Stop blaming Joseph Boakai. Stop blaming the Minister of Public Works. Excuse me. Stop blaming. Start from those leaders at your level. Know their responsibilities, their functionalities. When you see them doing nothing but amassing wealth, it should draw your attention, because they could probably be taking the resources from you that should develop your society, your common community, for themselves. But then you blame national government. Now, unfortunately, it has become a part of national government, meaning the president to appoint local government leaders, which is a bad thing. This has to change. So, to some degree, yes, the local community will blame the president when he doesn't hold accountable his appointee as a mayor or a superintendent. That's fair. That's fair. So that is why it's about time that as we prepare for 2029, let's put the mayorship, the superintendent positions back into the hands of voters. We spend money on all kinds of things. We spend money on international flying here, there, and yonder, stipends. We can put money to reverse this situation where the president is the sole responsible person for appointing at every level of government. Almost, take it back, almost every level of government. So then you citizens will understand the role of your leaders at the local level. Move from criticism to problem solving. Citizens, move from criticism to problem solving. Complaining can be useful when it identifies failures, but constructive citizenship will ask, what solution will work? What trade-offs are involved? And what can I do to help implement it? So criticizing all day will not help. You got to understand what policies are put in place, hold yourself accountable, and live up to those standards and policy put in place. But continuing to blame is not going to solve the problem. Whole government Thank you for the acknowledgement. I'm trying to get this stuff to make a sense. All right, thank you. I'm hoping it's fixed. I'm about to even wrap up now because it's becoming really frustrating here tonight. Thank you, Cole, for um, enlightening me. Bad audio again. Something is going on here, but I have to review it. Is it better now so I can close because I'm on my last? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm on my last leg now. So, yes, as I was saying, we can do citizens education. That is why radio stations should be focused on. The Liberia Broadcasting System should design programs, public service programs, to enlighten citizens to be held accountable for their own actions that influence bad governance. We can't continue to just put everything on the government. Again, you are your own problem, citizens. We've given some very classic examples here tonight. If you go to the red light today, all that garbage everywhere, and they still sell in it. They fix street foods in there. Then when people die of cholera, of sicknesses, then they say, oh, that witch. What type of people are these? What type of people are these? You put your government in power, your government lay the platform out, they put the agenda out, instead of you adhering to the agenda, you go contrary to the agenda, then you blame the government. Just take, for instance, you're an employee and you have a boss. The boss is given a clear expectation on how to run that department. The boss calls all of you to a meeting. He presents the mandate with clarity and say, this is the expectation and this is how it must be implemented. Any question, come back to me. The deliverables must be at the end of the month, and I'm expecting results. Whether you understood it or not, the boss did give you the opportunity to come back and ask questions if you were not clear and certain. You choose not to. You sit there until the end of the month when the deliverables are demanded. Then you act like you didn't know, you were not in the meeting. Mind you, you signed a document that said you were aware. And then you want to now go to HR and blame the boss that the boss did not explain this and the boss did not explain that. But remember, hypothetically say you were 25 and 20 people got it and 5 of you, that's a majority. That's the situation with citizens and government. 2029 is coming. The opposition will present their platform. They will come with what they will consider wrong by this government that you put there and have attributed to the failure of the government, right? The opposition will capitalize on all those failures that you, the same citizens, created for this government to fail. Then they will use that as the persuasive approach to lure you into voting for them. Right? Then you go in and vote for the opposition. You remove UP. But you haven't changed your behavior. And then what happens? You put the opposition in power. The opposition platform that you regarded and the reason for which you voted for them, you go contrary to that platform and then you blame the new government. Let's hypothetically say the ANC. Then you start crying on communists. We said that the communist man, he only was good for corporate leadership. He know nothing about country. But communists brought a beautiful platform that you bought. You say Joseph Boaga food, the man spoiled the country. You take communist platform, beautiful platform. It could be a mixed method theory that he used in leadership. corporate, which is public-private, merge them, put it together, and you bought into it. That presentation is made, you go to the polls, you vote for Cummings. In less than 1 year, you start crying again. Because why? Your attitude and your behavior remain constant. You have not changed yourself as citizens. 2 riders on the bike. You put in 5 riders on the bike. 1 rider and 4 passengers. 1 passenger in the front seat, 3 in the back. You put 2 in the front seat and 5 in the back. How are you expecting anything to work? So then what you do, you put money in the police pocket. The police pulls you over. You bribe the police. The police want to give you a ticket. You refuse and the ticket is $50. The police say, all right, my man, give me $15 and go. Make sure you don't pull over passenger. You put money in the police pocket. You rob the government of $35 and you go. But the government can do what it's supposed to do because some of those monies were supposed to be strengthening government's coffers to deliver goods and services for you, the citizens. Do you really understand this thing I'm talking here tonight? Are you really listening to your contribution to the societal failures, to your government's failure? Maybe I need to repeat myself because I have my little small closing thing, but I want to repeat myself. 2029 is coming. You crying on that junk. This government is bad. This government ain't doing nothing. This government wrong. This government, right? We'll try Cummings. I'll give you an example. Cummings did well at the corporate level. Cummings did well as a private employee. But Cummings now, you decide to give him the chance because he presents a good platform. Remember, he never worked in the public sector. He never worked in government. But he can translate his experience, his education, his competencies at the highest level in corporate leadership into public service. Because in fact, in private sector employment, you are held more accountable than public sector employment. Because it comes with a merit system. It comes with evaluation, constant training and retraining. So Cummings is well prepared to translate his skill set into the public sector. Many of you don't even know it. The people you put in power, the people from the Ellen to the Wea to the Boyka, I don't think they've ever ascended to a certain level as compared to Cummings. I'm being honest here tonight. I'm not a Cummings guy, but I'm just trying to make the case here. Now, if Cummings is capable of translating his advancement, his achievements from that private sector into the public sector, he may make a good president. But you, the citizens, if you don't change your behavior, if you don't change your attitude, the way you do things, the way you carry yourself, the way you compromise the integrity of policies and standards of conduct and the laws in the country, then Cummings will fail. Then the ANC and oppositions will fail. These governments are failing because you, the citizen, remain soaked and ingrained in your behaviors. You are the reasons why your governments are failing. I'll repeat what I said earlier. Maybe my broadcast was not doing well then. The government strive to put drugs in the hospitals, in the clinics. You, the nurses, you, the doctors, you take those drugs donated by foreign donors for the well-being of the citizens. You put it in your bag, quietly go home, and open your small in-the-house mini clinic. Everybody coming to you, you're treating them. You're pocketing the money and leave the entire hospital with no drugs. Then you blame the government and say the government corrupt, the government ain't bring no drugs in the country, no donor aids coming in the country. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You blaming the government for your criminal behavior? So then what do you expect the government to do? What do you expect the Minister of Health to do? When you can't manage the small resources at your level and be accountable and responsible citizens, you're stealing it and taking it and pocketing the money for yourself. Why are you blaming the government? So that's the situation. So like I said, and Thomas Awaji agreed here, that nothing will change if people don't change. It is the fact. Nothing will change if people don't change. Today, our citizenry don't have a sense of pride. I remember as a small boy, man, growing up, we were not this corrupt. We were not this non-compliant. We were not this foolish. We were not this bad. Is it wrong for us to grow to almost 6 million people? Is it wrong? What happened with the preservation of our dignity? Why can't those days of the good be translated and applied to the now? Why? America just celebrated 250 years. Do you know what it means to survive for 250 years and still, at least to some degree, hold your system intact? Do you know how many civil wars America fought and still is able to maintain her system intact? We're not seeing that not problems here and there, but the system is intact. And one of the things I've learned being in America, when the American man decides to come together, they come together on the national issue. Oh yes. When America is against the rest of the world to come together on the national issue. In Liberia, no. We splinterize ourselves and we can see on the national issue that impact us. A common situation is the land dispute at the border. People taking sides, people congesturizing the situation, giving their own opinion, saying things. We divided on the front. So how is our country going to change? How? When we, the citizens, continue to contribute to the bad. When we take no fault in the matter. How? If you don't take kush, they will not sell you kush. If you don't drink alcohol, they will not sell you alcohol. But if you decide to drink alcohol and take kush, they will sell it to you. You have to change. There are people who live in Liberia never been in a liquor store, never sat at any bar to drink alcohol. They know the value of their money, so they're not going to use their own money against them. I know you're going to say I sound stupid, right? I'm sure, right? But it is the fact. Do you go to the market and buy rotting fish? Who goes to the market and knowingly buy rotting fish? So that's the example I'm giving you. If you don't smoke weed or kush or anything like that, nobody will sell it to you. It will not come in your country. But you create a market for it. You, the citizen, create a market for it. Then you blame the government. Well, you should be the one fighting against it at your local level. You knowingly know that ghettos are all in your little community. You don't go there and enrich the devil. Begin to fight for your community. Then you blame the government that's sleeping way up there at the top don't even know what's happening at the ground level. How can we change? So no matter which government you put in power, you will continue to cry and complain. Ultimately, a functioning democracy depends on balance. It depends on balance. Governments must be accountable to citizens, and citizens must be accountable to each other and to the communities they help to create. Otherwise, you will continue to cry tire in the Liberian parlance. You will continue to blame the government for everything that you are literally contributing to every day. Because one man's bad action can influence the fate of a whole nation. Needless to say, 1 million people, bad action can kill the dreams of a whole nation. I hope you heard it tonight. So no matter who you put there, 2029, we'll come back here and we'll have the same conversation because your behavior will remain constant. You only go to vote, but you don't go understanding what your vote means and how you can impact your vote by your behavior and your attitude. I repeat myself, you the citizens only go to the polls to vote, but you don't think about how your vote should be utilized to impact the government action, and by your behavior and attitude to how the government should function. It doesn't matter who you put in power. If you don't change your attitude and your behavior, the small things in your community, the big things at the national level will never be changed. And all you're going to do is put monies in people's pockets. You're going to make people rich overnight, as you can see, and they will leave with no accountability. And even when someone who has good intent come to power and want to hold those people accountable who stole from you, what do? You get used and abused to become protesters on hungry stomachs, and you run around the place for little handouts and nothing change. Nothing change. That's the society that we've created, and it appears that's the society our country will remain until we, the citizens of Liberia, can sing the song, "All hail Liberia, hail, all hail. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours." Until we can become patriots, until we can become responsible citizens, understand why we are considered citizens, know that we are the national decision makers by our electoral votes at the polls. And once we live by the standards set forth by the government, the rules and regulations to govern our behavior and the way we live, then the government will be successful. Then all citizens, all foreigners, all of those in our borders will conform to the expectations set forth by the government. Our country will be regarded as a responsible nation that people can respect, and will become a part of the Committee of Nations again. And then all will hail Liberia. All will hail Liberia. All will hail Liberia. I want to thank you so much for being there with me tonight. It was a great conversation, I believe. Oh man, I love to do this thing for my country. Why do citizens always blame the government for everything that goes wrong, even if they contribute heavily to the cause? This has been the topic here tonight. You can now go and begin to change yourself in small ways and add values to your community, add values to the expectations of your government, and we can see Liberia again as a beautiful place of law-abiding citizens. Volcano Shelton here say good night, and we'll be back here Thursday next week. Until then, thank you to everyone who joined me here tonight. We'll be back here on Tuesday with the Issues Room. Alfonso Yuna and myself will then be here with another presentation. Good night to all you, my good friends and brothers and sisters out there. Go and be responsible citizens. Whether you're in the diaspora, whether you're in Liberia, wherever you find yourself, go and be responsible citizens and help your government to run the country well. Good night.